I tweeted Morgan Stanley's price target for Palantir over the next 5 years. Bull case $20, base case $9, bear case $4. That $20 price target is with a 30% CAGR, and they have a bunch of numbers here to justify this. And you said the range between the three cases is the same as saying that a human may live between 1 to 100 years over his lifetime. Are you fundamentally discounting all of the complex equity analysis that's going on at Morgan Stanley with that analogy?
There is no analysis here. There is a bunch of people putting some numbers. See, I have been on both sides, Amit. I have been on the side where we are building this kind of Excel sheets, quite detailed. And, in the Excel sheet world, everything in the Excel is a macro and you just start putting number and sometimes you get detached with the reality. Okay, I think that's where I kind of like strategy consulting more, because you are on the ground, you are bit touch in reality. A lot of financial analysis. See, before you build an analysis, you need to build a view and basic assumption that what you are trying to do here. Okay, you need to tell, okay, what are the basic. So for example, if I am doing this analysis for a company, first thing I have to explain, what is this company doing? Okay, they are selling large scale end-to-end enterprise solutions in data analysis, data analytic space, to large clients. Okay, then I have to cover the macro of that. What the macro will look like. What happens if the macro is super aggressive, even mediocre company grows. Okay, we also understand at this particular point we are in a monetary very tight situation, and if we are looking 2, 3, 4 years, and a lot of time they are saying they are projecting until 2028. I mean, what are you expecting? 2028 the interest rate to be 6%?
No.
Okay, so you have to put those.
I was surprised at that 30% growth, and for 5 years, and they think the stock's at $20. I mean, like, that's tough. It's tough to internalize.
Okay, we have also started seeing that Palantir operating leverage has started to increase, where their operating expenses are not going that high, but their revenue is going that higher. So there is no coverage of operating leverage in general. Okay, then you have to see, okay, what is the unique point of this company? That means what this company can do, what others cannot. And we have discussed this in detail. I'll not go. I think Palantir definitely has something which is unique to it. Okay, then you look at the traction in general. Okay, I mean, like I have discussed, but Palantir is very critical for. Do you expect Natto to fail? No. So if Natto is not about to fail, then Palantir is not about to fail also in the government sector. So there is something which now we take about the revenue in terms that, okay, if everything is so fine, that why revenue is not growing? And there are 3 key reasons for that. Okay, first thing is there is ample evidence that their product is A+. There is also ample evidence that over the time they have struggled selling their product and positioning their product. So there is an issue that goes with execution and sales team, which they have improved a lot over the time. Then is that their product is very thick. Okay, and it's a top-down selling, and that takes time, and especially in a year where a lot of CEOs are trying to cut down their capex. It's not that easy sell. Now they have repositioned it with the AIP, but the challenge is still there. It takes a while before the enterprise sales happen. Okay, so what we are seeing at this particular point, 13%, is it exciting? It is not, but it is still growing. The company has zero debt. The company is critical. They have a product which is unmatched in a lot of ways. Their product is good, and you can get it from a very simple way, that there are actually NGOs funded by political money to oppose them. I mean, why the fuck a politician has to worry about that a company should be, that we need to attack a company? I mean, people like George Soros, who are thinking about world future, that world should be like this and that, they are worried about attacking Palantir. I mean, so that tells that people think that the company can play a role in building the society.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone may like that view, may not like that view. I mean, it's a free world, and that's everybody's opinion. Okay. But that is telling that the company.
Why do you think Morgan Stanley put out the report in the first place?
When first they have to put out a report. They are Morgan Stanley. They have to put report on mostly large companies, especially in the sector which is very hot. So people will be asking Morgan Stanley, okay, what are the AI stocks, and they have to put the report. Now start looking. I think what is the most interesting in that report is their base case.
Yeah.
Okay, their base case is $9. Okay. Then they have a bull case, which is $20. It is very surprising. That means they also expect that at some point that the company and stock can do better than their own. But the $9, if you take, and let's go back to the same thing we were discussing about C3I. Okay. At $9, what we are saying that company is 18, 19, 20, 22 billion, probably in 25. Okay. We try to look at that way. What is their revenue? Their revenue is currently 2 billion. Probably revenue reach even by that estimate like 2.5, 2.6 billion before the monetary easing start. The debt is still zero. Okay, nobody is stopping them in building new products. Like you saw yesterday, Agora for Energy came with Traffigra, which is a much thinner product, can be consumed very fast, focused on a particular sector where everybody needs a product. Okay, and now they have access to the sales force, and immediately they have 3 clients who are going to use it. Okay, and they have not accounted for the improvement in the operating leverage. Okay, we also know, and even yesterday I was with I was in a meeting with the CEO of a company, and I mean it's a large company, around $10 million in revenue, and the questions I was answering was around the implementation of LLM. Okay,
so you're the latest AI consultant these guys in Malaysia come to now. You're the guy that they want to talk to.
No, not the first. It was not in Malaysia. Okay.
Okay.
Malaysia, not a lot of companies are doing 10 billion in revenue, so it was an international company. I mean, I was in the meeting, of course, because I work in a digital space in energy, and also because somebody, I mean, the CEO on the other side was a very good friend for a long time. Okay, we worked together for some time. So the thing was, the question was again coming around the LLM, and I was explaining them the same thing on that part also, that why and how the LLM has to be implemented, and you need this trinity. That means you have your own data, which you want to be completely ring fenced. Then you are also, because like if you work in an industry, you have your supply chain, and supply chain is sharing some data. Some data they'll be sharing with you, which they will not be sharing with everybody in public domain. So you have proprietary data,
right,
which you need, and you want these two data to talk to each other, but you do not want that ring fence that your information should go to your OEM. And then you have open context, okay, which is you can get from Llama or you can get from Chat GPT, but you need these 3 LLMs together, and you have to be very clear that how these LLMs use each other's context. Okay, so this is what I call the trinity of LLM, and on top of that you need that ontological layer. So people need to understand, who don't I mean, who are like very naive around why LLM and why ontology. LLM allows you to extract a lot of information out of unstructured data, while ontology allows you to build relationship and kind of symbiotic understanding that what links to what.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have an structured information that is linked, and then you have an unstructured information. Now it's a very complex web. That is where you need something like an AI logic and AI assist on top of it, which actually tries to help you, like what is allowed, what is not allowed, who can access what, who is accessing what, how we are recording, is it in compliance, is it under RB. So you need something that wraps around it, and that's what potentially AIP is positioned to do it. Okay, so in theory, the AI implementation on enterprise is not as simple as it is, but the thing is, the problem was complex even before AI came. The only challenge now people have is not a focus. Earlier the problem was how to solve it. Now the problem is more in the tactical nature, is okay, in order to solve it, what do we need to do? So that has changed now. Okay, so when you think like, so now when you're looking for such a large picture and you see, okay, what product solves what problem, I think big tech, Palantir, that they are the one who are more in the larger categories. Okay, companies like, I would say Snowflake is there, but Snowflake like goes there with like series of partners. Okay, you will do this, you will do this, we'll take care of that. That's not a bad approach also. Okay, because that allows a lot of modularity going forward, but it also complicate the solution moving forward also. Okay, so that is the decision which executives has to change, that are you going to go so now, I think people who have worked like in between 2000 and 2005 in enterprise setting, they will be surprised, and if they try to look at how many different solutions from different players you were using. You were using McAfee for you were using Eudora for email. Now over the time, everything now, either you are using Google workspace, or now you are using Microsoft. You didn't realize, but a lot of over the 20 years things have converged, and that
Right.
is exactly going to happen in the AI space also. That currently you are scattered all over the place, but with time you will start converging on one or two. We have seen yesterday what happened with United Airlines. I mean, so people talk about enterprise software, okay, what it can do, what it cannot do. I mean, it can shut down your company
Yeah.
if it is not been addressed. Okay, so personally, I was actually, so that's why I said that the Morgan Stanley report doesn't serve any purpose. It doesn't provide any good base case. It doesn't provide any bull case. It doesn't provide any bear case. It's like, I mean, if you give somebody, okay, this is a company that has a revenue of $2.5 billion in 2025. It has zero debt. It is growing by 10%. What should be the valuation in this macro? You ask somebody will say 4 to 10 PS is okay. It will cover very high versus variable. That's pretty much what they have done.
Yeah.
So I
That's
mean, why
yeah.
why to spend? So just because you can write complicated formulas in Excel, it doesn't solve anything. And that is the problem with the analyst community in general, is that, and a lot of, I mean, it's in every, like yesterday I was saying, like Gary Black was advising Elon Musk on that people, because they're putting numbers, they suddenly think that they know everything that is happening on the change management side, on the strategy side, on the operation side, on the R&D manufacturing. And yeah, this is why analysts are not the people to look when you are looking for especially next gen companies, in my opinion. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's a lot of numbers put together, a lot of P/E, P/S, and you come up with some hypothetical argument, and then you're like, well, this makes sense. And it might make sense, but as you said, if interest rates aren't 6% in 2028, I mean, Palantir went to 45 with interest rates at 0, a year ago, with barely as much revenue as they have right now. So it's very interesting how they kind of throw out the different numbers for these price targets.